Welcome aboard Just Jets with your captain, Matt O'Leary. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Hello and welcome to episode number 64 of Just Jets. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary, and we are going to do some grading of the New York Jets draft and answer your voicemails on the New York Jets draft from 2021. It was an absolute blast. If you didn't hang out with us, it was myself, Green Bean, and Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7. We streamed all 3 days. It was insane. The turnout was tremendous, so I appreciate everyone who tuned in. And if you didn't, that's okay. We're going to do it again next year, so you got a ways to go. But it was an absolute blast, and we definitely appreciate each and every one of you who were able to join us. And, I mean, let's jump right into this one. But before we do that, this past weekend was the NFL draft, and there's a chance that you had Trevor Lawrence's haircut in your pants. No good. No one wants that. Come on. We want to look like Robert Saleh's haircut or Joe Douglas's haircut. What are we doing, guys? So, use promo code JETS20 for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. You can get anything on their site, including the Lawnmower 3.0, the Weed Whacker, the Cologne, any one of their packages, 20% off and free shipping on top of that. I got you covered with my promo code JETS20, so you're definitely going to want to check that out and see if there's something on the website that you like. So let's jump into it. The Jets had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 draft picks. They moved around a little bit. There was a trade up. There's a trade back. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about it, and let's grade it. So the first one was the obvious one. Everyone knew the Jets were taking Zack Wilson, number 2. It was nice to finally see that come to fruition. Like, this has been talked about probably since November, or maybe before then. It's just insane how long the Jets have been talking about, or Jets fans have been talking about, the next quarterback. And for a while now, most people have been on the Zack Wilson train. Some really wanted Justin Fields, and I'm surprised he fell to 11. Good on the Bears for trading up and grabbing him. But the Jets were able to get this one done. No surprise there. Love the pick. I think he is a perfect fit for this offense, and I'm excited to, have him go to work in this offense. Pick number 2 is where the surprise comes in. So we'll talk about this one a little bit more. The Jets were originally sitting at 23, and they decided to package pick 23 and both of their third-round picks in order to move up to pick number 14, where the Minnesota Vikings were sitting, and they grabbed Elijah Vera Tucker. I absolutely love this move. Would it have been nice to have two third-round picks? Yeah. But is it nicer to have someone who you really believe could be a Pro Bowl caliber left guard to put next to Mekhi Becton and to help out your rookie quarterback? Yeah, I'll take that every day of the week. I don't think it was too much. There were some people online who were like, oh, the Jets gave up way too much. No, they didn't. The draft chart was only off by something like 40 points. And at that point, you're moving up. And that's the reason why you get all that draft capital, is to go up and get that guy. And a part of the Jamal Adams trade, not all of it, but some of it, turned into Elijah Vera Tucker. And would you rather have someone who you think could be a Pro Bowl caliber offensive guard, or would you rather have a all-pro box safety? I am taking the guard 10 out of 10 times. There's no question about it. And there's still another pick coming next year. So on top of that, I just thought it was a really smart move. It was an aggressive move from Joe Douglas at an important position. I can't stand the people who are like, oh, a guard isn't a primary position or a premium position. Are you kidding me? Have you watched this team the last 2 years? They've been atrocious on the interior for a long, long time, and Elijah Vera Tucker will help shore that up. And on top of that, he has experience playing tackle. So if Mekhi Becton goes down with the injury, or if Fant on the other side goes down with an injury and you want to move him over there, he could do it. He's an extremely versatile piece, and I love this. This was my favorite pick of the draft. 34, there was a bit of a surprise. It was Elijah Moore, wide receiver from Ole Miss. And the reason why I thought that was a surprise was because you had Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the linebacker hybrid kind of a player from Notre Dame. I just would add a couple of those guys later. And Tevin Jenkins was there. And I personally thought they were going to either trade out or go with one of the two guys I just listed. But they went with the wide receiver, and it's hard for me to get mad at this pick. Was it something that I was thinking they were going to do? Absolutely not. But when you heard the phone call from Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh to Elijah Moore, they clearly were thinking about taking him at 23, and they anticipated him to go in the first round, and him still sitting there for them at 34, they loved it. And it's hard for me to get upset about adding weapons and adding talent to your offense that's been putrid over the last 5 years. It's been embarrassing how bad it's been ever since 2015. They were bottom 2 in the league the last couple of years under Adam Gase. They did Sam Darnold 0 favors, and everyone who was yelling and screaming that Sam Darnold doesn't have enough weapons, you can't then turn around and be mad because the Jets drafted a high-end offensive guard and then a high-end weapon in this class. You can't. You just can't do it. And like, he's not just a slot receiver. While he is going to play a majority in the slot because he's smaller at 5'9", and he's a speed guy. He can take a top off of defense. We know that. But I think he's going to be used as like, you know, a versatile piece. Someone who can come around on jet sweeps. Someone who can line up in the backfield if need be. And do a little bit of everything. He's someone you want to get the ball in his hands and watch him work. So I am very excited about the Elijah Moore pick, and I think his route running is very, very, very solid. So I love it. I love that pick. Michael Carter in the 4th was, again, surprising. We were very much, if you watch the stream, we were very much so on the Cox train. We wanted the linebacker from LSU. We were surprised that he was still sitting there, to be honest with you, but they decided to go Michael Carter. And once again, while it's not something that I was thinking the Jets were going to do, he was expected to go before that. I thought he was going to be, you know, maybe like a top 50 or 60 player in this draft. I thought 2nd round, maybe early 3rd round for Michael Carter. Both him and Kenny Gainwell were sitting there for them at 107, and it's hard to be upset about it, again, because you got really good value on him. It's not like you took him at 34. You took him at 107. That's the difference. That's why you have guys like me, Green Bean, and Ryan, for the most part, were saying, yeah, wait, because there's going to be good value guys there. And that's exactly what you got in Carter. You didn't have to give up a high-end pick. For instance, look at the Jaguars at pick 25. They took Travis Etienne, and Urban Meyer pretty much came out and said he's going to be a 3rd down back. What? You spent a 1st-round pick on a 3rd down back? Or Michael Carter is instantly the best running back on this team. Him and Ty Johnson should be a really nice 1-2 punch. Now, I am very worried about LaMichael Pirine. I think he has a hard time making this roster. I don't think he's a good fit in this offense. I think that was an Adam Gase guy, someone who would maybe work in the Adam Gase offense, but Carter is someone who's instantly going to come in here and be solid for this team right away. So 4 weapons to start on offense. Love it. The last time the Jets took 4 offensive players to start their draft was in 1983. It's been a very, very long time, long overdue. Now we get to the run of the defense. So Jamian Sherwood is, when he was originally listed as a safety, on the our reaction on the Talking Jets panel was like, huh? What? But then we walked that back rather quickly. We found out he's kind of a hybrid player, can play linebacker, safety, and do a little bit of everything. So he's an athletic player and someone who can kind of line up anywhere. I think he is likely to transition, be more of a will player in this defense, which is fine. I don't have much else to add on this one. Good athlete. Michael Carter the second. The Jets drafted 2 Michael Carters. The second one, again, listed as safety. We said, what are they doing? And then realized, oh no, he's going to be more of a slot cornerback, which is fine. The Jets desperately need slot help, so can't get mad about this one either. Him and Javelin Guidry, as of right now, are probably going to be competing for that slot starting spot. And we'll see who gets the better of it. Maybe they bring back there we go, enunciation is key, Brian Poole. If not, then it'll be Carter and Guidry fighting it out for the slot. Jason Pinnock is next, and those Pittsburgh Corners, man. It worked out last time the Jets drafted a Pittsburgh corner. He's an outside guy, an athlete, late round swing on a position of need. Not much else to add there. Fine with the pick. The next one, maybe the steal of the Jets draft, Hazmat Nazardeen. He is a safety / linebacker, plays all over the field. Great athlete from FSU. He's someone who I anticipated going much, much earlier than what he did. And the fact that he was still there, like, I think there's a chance that he turns out better than Sherwood. Similar kind of style of player where they're, hard-hitting safety, played in the box. They're going to try to transition him to linebacker probably, as the Jets listed both of these guys as linebacker picks, not safety picks on their website, and, just pretty much talking about it after they came out. I like this guy a lot, and I think there's a chance that he could be better than Sherwood. And I'm not like anti-Sherwood or anything like that. I think that, he could be fine, but I just really, really like the value here and think this was a good pick. Then you have Brandon Echols, cornerback, another 6th-round swing on a position of need, outside guy, a good athlete, which is absolutely something that they were trying to do. Ran a ridiculous 40-yard dash. I think he has like 4.35 speed, something like that. So really good athlete. And then the last pick, Jonathan Marshall, a defensive tackle. And I just went, defensive tackle? Now I get it. He's a very, very good athlete. Scored in the high-end percentile on defensive tackles and their athleticism. So that's what Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh were doing. Their dart throws were on defense, which I'm fine with, and they put more premium picks on the offensive side. And it's guys with high athletic upside. My thing is that Marshall's going to be so far down on the depth chart. I would have probably went a different direction. I maybe would have went tight end. Now they did end up, signing the Ole Miss tight end as an undrafted free agent. I might have went kicker. They ended up signing an undrafted free agent kicker. So it's not awful, but it was a little deflating with how the board was at the time. There were other players I liked and other positions I would have liked to attack still, but overall, tough for me to complain. Ended up going 6 defensive, 4 offensive, but the 4 offensive guys were the first 4 picks, and then the later swings were on defense, so understand with the more swings on the defensive side later on. So now to grade time. This comes in as an A- draft for me. This is a very solid draft class. You got your quarterback, you tried to help him out with getting a guard, a wide receiver, a running back, and then you took your swings on the defensive side of the ball after that. This is a really, really good draft class from Joe Douglas. We'll see how it translates on the field, obviously. That's the next thing, and we'd be able to give a much better grade as, 2-3 years down the line probably. We'll know for sure. But looking at on paper, I think this is an A- draft, and I've seen some go as low as B, only a couple of jack wagons in the C's and stuff like that, and some A pluses. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say an A plus or an A, but very, very solid. An A- grade is very, very good. Remember, I'm a professor. I got to grade a little hard too. So let's get into your thoughts on the NFL draft now in the voicemails. James in New Jersey is up first. He wants to talk about Zack Wilson and the trade up.
Yo, it's your boy James from New Jersey. Couple of things, Baltimore. First of all, happy belated birthday. I found it was your birthday about a week or so back from your last episode.
Thank you.
My birthday is this upcoming Sunday. You'll probably get this video. I'll post this video afterwards.
Oh, happy birthday!
The second, but happy belated birthday to you, my fellow Taurus
gang.
Again, thank you for answering my question last week. I'm so happy that we kind of did a good thing. We got Zack Wilson. I'm not worried about the paranoia anymore. Everyone's saying that we're probably going to be losers or we're same old Jets, whatever. We're just going to take it and run with it. We got Zack Wilson now. I was really shocked that we traded up to get Elijah Vera Tucker, but it made sense. We didn't give a huge haul for trading up 9 spots. I think we made a good call. You have to protect Zack Wilson, so I'm happy about it. Question for you, my man. Question. Do you think the AFC East is going to be an interesting and fun division this year? It's probably not going to be as bad as the NFC East last year, but do you think AFC East is going to be just as more interesting? Because now you got 2 rookie quarterbacks in the division now, and Zack Wilson and Mac Jones in New England. And even though Bill Belichick is being all nonchalant saying Cam is right now the starting quarterback, won't be surprised until Cam starts becoming the shell of himself and Mac Jones starts taking over the reins.
Yep.
So you think this will be an interesting season? I don't think we're going to go to the 12 next year, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to go into the right direction. So
no doubt.
Let me know what you think, man. Hope you enjoyed round 1 of the drafts. I think this draft is going to be exciting again. Let's have some fun here. This is the new future of the New York Jets. Go Jets, and thanks again, Matt. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Really appreciate it, James. And of course, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a very interesting division. You have all young quarterbacks. Buffalo is the longest. Josh Allen is the longest tenured quarterback in the division. You have a young up-and-coming star in Josh Allen. You have Tua Tagovailoa, who, I mean, he was a first-round pick last year. Struggled a little bit, but maybe he takes a step forward in year 2. Mac Jones by the Patriots, and Zack Wilson. It's a young, really up-and-coming division. I'm with you. I think it is going to be fun. And I also think that I'm with you too, that I don't think the Jets are a playoff team this year, but that's not my expectation. If they go, I don't know, 6-11, 7-10, 8-9, something like that, and their offense takes a significant step forward and they go from like 32 to 18, then yeah, we're all excited because that means that Zack Wilson probably looks like the real deal. That's the most important thing this year, is the development of Zack Wilson. And I just want to go to a point where we're not looking like rooting to lose games down the stretch. Be like, oh, I want the better draft pick, so we could pick 3rd instead of 6th. If they pick in the middle of the first round, who cares? But if it shows that like Zack Wilson goes on a couple game-winning drives, or has a couple of big halves and some comebacks in the second half of games, that's what we're rooting for at this point. I'm tired of rooting for losses. I'm tired of rooting for the tank. Let's have some fun and rally around this new up-and-coming offense, which is what they have. They have a new coach, offensive coordinator who learned under a really good one in LaFleur learning under Shanahan. So let's be excited. I'm about it, James. I love that positive energy. Next up's Matt from Staten Island, and he wants to talk about Elijah Moore. A lot of people did. That's a surprise pick.
Hey, Matt. It's Matt from Staten Island. I actually, just a couple hours ago, saw that the Jets drafted Elijah Moore in the second round. I just wanted to know what you thought about that pick, because obviously, I've been watching your videos, and I don't remember you ever saying anything about Elijah Moore, or I don't think you mocked him or anything like that. And obviously, I honestly have a feeling you don't really like that pick, because I know,
No.
You wanted to pick corner in the second round, which I understand. I wish the Jets did that too. But what do you think that means for the Jets? And also, I kind of just thought about this randomly, but
Sure.
What do you think this means for Jamison Crowder? Do you think that means that now he's on his way out to the fact that we just drafted another wide receiver? And obviously, I'm pretty sure you're happy about the fact that pushes Braxton Berrios down the depth chart. So
And
I'm
the
pretty
Smiths
sure you're happy about
and
that
Cager.
part, because I know you don't like him very much. And obviously, Wyatt Davis was drafted to the Vikings, not 29 minutes ago for me, about 30 minutes. So obviously, that's another pick that we aren't going to be getting. So I just wanted to know what you thought about the draft, and by the time you're listening to this and this is on the show, or if this is on the show, what do you grade the off season that the New York Jets had? Because the draft is pretty much over. Thank you, and have a good day.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So with Elijah Moore, I don't hate the pick, because I think you have to give, Zack Wilson a fighting chance. And while I was surprised with it, I don't hate it. This is someone who I thought a lot of people anticipated going in the first round. And no, this isn't a knock on the Giants. I actually think Dave Gettleman did a really good job, but I think Elijah Moore is better than Kadarius Toney from Florida. So I was surprised to see Elijah Moore go after Toney, to be completely honest with you. But with that being said, I think that overall it was a really good draft from Joe Douglas. I know I wanted corner. We all did. But they were able to do that later. They went offense heavy first and a bunch of swings on defense second, which I can't be mad at that strategy when year after year after year they took interior defensive line early every single year no matter what. So I'm not going to be mad at it. I really can't be. And as far as the offseason goes, I think it was a solid one. They're definitely in a better position than they were under Sam Darnold with the teams around him. So I'm going to say B+ on the offseason overall. I thought they could have maybe did a little bit more in free agency. I'm in that B+ A- range. I don't think it was perfect, but I do think it was a solid one. Draft I had at A-. Free agency probably a B. So let's split the difference and go B+. I think that's probably fair. So thank you, Matt, on that one. Let's go to Jeremy in California. He has some options that he wanted to talk about in the fourth round. And we were talking about this guy a lot on Friday into Saturday.
Hey, Matt, it's Jeremy from Sacramento. And I'm just thinking, man, I know you've been up all night. I mean, you must have been just unable to sleep, up all night just thinking about Cox.
Yeah.
I mean, admit it. And, I'm thinking Green Bean, man, he is definitely, excited. I mean, he wants Cox and then any tight end.
True.
Don't you think? And Ryan seemed to be super excited about Cox.
We love Cox.
So, I mean, even Jimmy by Jets was, you could see he would have traded down. He wanted Cox, all night long.
We did.
Cox.
Yeah, we did.
So, I mean, I think it's okay to admit, I mean, it's a thing. I mean, it's just, what it is,
we want Cox.
You don't want You don't want the GM to take a guy that's a wuss or anything.
No.
You want Cox.
Yeah.
You decide.
Sure,
You
Cox.
decide what you like in life.
Amen.
You decide
You like
who
Cox.
you are and what you are, and I know you want Cox.
Oh yeah,
and it's okay. It's okay to say it. Say it out loud. Am I right, Matt? Am I right? Do you like Cox?
Oh, we love Cox. That was a gimmick from Friday into Saturday if you missed it. So when the Jets when the third round was coming to a close and we saw Jabril Cox left on the draft board, we thought that was someone the Jets would be looking at going into the fourth round. They ended up going with Michael Carter, the running back, which, again, was a surprise pick, hard to get mad out of, but we were very much so. All of us were on the Cox bandwagon. That became the running joke because we're all teenagers at heart and can't not laugh at that. So very funny, Jeremy. That was awesome. He was hanging out with us, even hopped in on either Thursday or Friday. I don't remember. It kind of all blended together. We streamed for 18 hours in 3 days. It was insane. So thank you, Jeremy, for checking in. Love it. Hopefully you like the draft as well, my friend. Let's go to Lucas in New Jersey. He wants to talk Elijah Moore.
My name is Lucas from New Jersey. I'm the Rangers kid that called in and said, "Let's go Rangers."
Oh, there we go.
I just want to say, I don't get all the hate for the Elijah Moore pick because that is the guy I wanted. And everyone's talking about, oh, we signed Corey Davis and Keelan Cole. We don't need to put that much value in a receiver. You can never have enough receivers in the NFL. Ask the Patriots, who just have a trunkload of receivers and won 6 Super Bowls using that. And just because we picked up Cole and Davis, that didn't make our receiving core great all of a sudden. So we had a good top 4, but guess what? 1 or 2 injuries, and we're back to how we were week 2 last year, putting out, Braxton Berrios, Chris Hogan, and I know how much you love him, Jeff and Vincent Smith.
The Smiths.
Having Moore, we now have 5 really good receivers.
Oh, great.
That, we have some flexibility if there's an injury. And also, let's keep in mind, Jameson Crowder is not going to be here long term. He'll probably be here this year, but his contract's up at the end of this year. He's also going to be turning 30 pretty soon. So this is a really good long-term weapon for Zack Wilson.
It is.
And the best part about him is he can play really anywhere. He can play in the slot and catch passes underneath like Jameson Crowder, which for me, that's his floor, Jameson Crowder. Or he could also play in the outside and catch passes deep like a Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
My comparison for him is kind of like a Tyler Lockett. I know they were saying that NFL Network.
That's a good one.
He's just someone that you could put in at any spot along the line of scrimmage, and he will catch passes. And that is something the Jets have not had in years. And like I said, you can never have enough pass catchers in the NFL. I thought that was a great draft overall. I would have liked to see them take Trey Smith, maybe just roll the dice on another lineman. But I understand that, they want to load up with bodies on defense because their secondary was shot last year.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's it. And Rich Samini, there's a reason why people sometimes call him Rich the Bitch, because he was one of the reporters crying all off season, saying, which is true, that we never gave Darnold enough weapons. And now when we give Wilson weapons, I guess it's a bad thing. Thanks. Go Jets. And go Yankees, because the Rangers' season's basically over.
Yeah, my Islanders pretty much ended your season last night. Sorry about that, buddy. Elijah Moore, though. Let's get into him. I think, agree. He could line up floor like a Santana Moss kind of player. I think he's a higher-end version of what Santana Moss was during his prime with the Jets and Washington. I really like this pick. I know it's not something that I was talking about a lot. I didn't think they would go this direction, but clearly, if you saw the reaction from Robert Saleh, that tells you everything. Like, to me, after going quarterback and offensive line, my thought was, okay, they're going to try to get Robert Saleh a toy. And I was thinking JOK. That was my overarching thought on going into it. I'm surprised he fell as far as he did. Story for another day. But if you saw on the call, he was extremely pumped up about Elijah Moore. So that tells you all you need to know. If he was available at 23 and the Jets didn't trade up, they might have taken him. That's how it seemed like they were talking about this guy. And I think he's going to do a lot of good things in this offense. I think they're going to use him in a ton of different ways. As you said, and I forgot to mention this earlier on one of the other calls about Elijah Moore / Jamison Crowder. Maybe they don't cut Crowder, or maybe they don't move on from Crowder, but I'd be surprised if he came back after his contract expires after this year. He is getting up there in age, and like if you have a bunch of pass catchers for your rookie quarterback, no one's going to be mad at that after we saw what was trotted out there for Sam Darnold. Remember in his rookie year, that game against Chicago, wasn't it like Jermaine Kearse, Burnett, and Andre Roberts as like the main 3 receivers? That's atrocious. That should never, ever be the case for Zack Wilson going forward. So super pumped up about that, Lucas. And I agree with you. I think it was a good pick. Let's get to Travis in Ohio. He's got some thoughts on the draft as well. Let's see what Travis has to say.
Hey, Matt.
Yo.
Travis from Ohio. Hey, buddy. Great job on covering the draft.
Thank you.
Ryan, Green Bean, and Gus. Especially when you had to hold down the fort when everybody else left you, and we had no picks. I mean, at the very end. So, brutal, but you made it watchable.
Thank you.
I was watching. Good job. Anyway, I think we knocked it out of the park again, and Broadway Joe Douglas did with the first 5 picks. After that, I don't know if they're going to even be on the roster or can only contribute as special teams. But, like what he did, you got to hit in the first half of your draft. And this is what I think he did again. So, anywho, love you, buddy. Go Jets. You roll. Bye.
Love you, Travis. Thank you for checking in. Glad you were happy with the draft class. Yeah, so yesterday, this was a little tough, not going to lie. We held it down, though. We were fine. So Green Bean was picking up. He was moving. He's going to, I believe, Maryland next. So after the last Jets pick, he was like, listen, boys, I got to bounce, got to pack up the fam and get on the road. Completely understandable. Ryan had an awesome opportunity. He was on SNY talking on there on the stream. I believe it was on YouTube and Facebook. They were streaming, and he went to talk on SNY for a little bit, and then it ended up just being me on the stream for about maybe 20 minutes or so. So I just went through the chat, answered some questions, reacted to some picks, and we were fine. We were just hanging out, and I'm glad you were able to tune in, Travis. It was a ton of fun. We had, I don't think Ryan will care about sharing the numbers. I mean, it's public information anyway. Over 3 days, we had 50,000 people tune in. 50,000. That's nuts. Really appreciate the support. It was an absolute blast. It's one of my favorite things we do each year, so I was pumped up about it. Max in New Jersey is up next. He wants to talk draft.
Hi, this is Max from Holmdel, New Jersey. Here's my thoughts on the draft this weekend. I think the Jets did a pretty good job in the draft, and I'm going to give it an A-.
Okay.
The 2 picks I didn't really like were the Elijah Vera Tucker pick and the pick at 102. For Elijah Vera Tucker, I understand we need to guard and we need to protect Zack Wilson, but I thought that the Jets were trading up, and I thought the Jets should have traded up for Greg Newsome. I thought Greg Newsome was a good player. And look at this interesting stat. This year, while he was playing, he never allowed 100 yards, and he allowed a 0% completion rate to quarterbacks. I really thought that the Jets should draft him. At pick 102, I did not really like the running back selection. I thought we should have took in Gainwell because he's a better running back, and he's a better versatile running back. What's your thoughts on the draft, and go Jets?
I'm confused with the 0% completion. So a quarterback didn't complete a pass against? I'm confused on that one. I could not disagree with you more on Elijah Vera Tucker. That was my favorite pick of the draft because you can forget it. He's 21 years old. He's someone you can forget about for hopefully a decade or more. I'm wearing a Nick Mangold jersey today, and part of the reason is because for the first time since the 2006 draft, I feel like they have a formidable young up-and-coming offensive line, which is something they desperately need. The biggest need for this team was interior offensive line, and the Jets got the best guard or best interior offensive lineman in this class. I don't care about the 2 third-round draft picks. I would not have traded up and taken a corner in that spot. I think that's silly. And for the second part of that, okay, you like Gainwell more than Michael Carter. I get it, but Carter is someone who I thought was going to go much earlier than what he did. I also can't be upset about that pick. So sorry, Max, I'm not on the same page with you on this one. Next up, we are going to get to Ben in New Jersey. He's got some praise for Joe Douglas. Let's hear from Ben.
What's up, Matt? It's Ben
Yo.
from Jersey. Part of my French here, but holy shit, Joe Douglas. Oh, man.
It was good.
I love this GM already. So I'm calling on a Saturday. The draft ended a few hours ago, and this draft was amazing. That's all I have to say about it. Obviously, we know Douglas drafted Zack Wilson to be our franchise quarterback. He traded up for the best guard in the class in Elijah Vera Tucker to protect him. And he drafted someone unexpected in round 2 in Elijah Moore, but they thought he was the top 25 talent.
Yep.
They were so glad he fell to him at 34, and he's got burners. And I expect Jameson Crowder to be cut or traded at some point. I don't think he should have a spot at this point right now. And, that's just another big booster to the offense.
It is.
And obviously we have a third-round pick for the ABT trade, and then but in the 4th round, we drafted Michael Carter from UNC. I didn't think we were going to draft a running back until like the 5th or 6th round, but Michael Carter is a top 4 running back in this class, for sure. Great pass catcher out of the backfield. He'll be
probably.
He should be running back 2 in this offense. I would hope he'll definitely take over at some point. And then here and there were a bunch of and then started the run on defense. You got Jamie Sherwood who could play linebacker and safety. Got a few cornerbacks. You got the other Michael Carter, another street. He's a little undersized. I wasn't a huge fan, but they like him, so I'm gonna trust them. They have Jason Pinnock from Pittsburgh. Hey, last time we drafted a Pittsburgh cornerback, it worked out pretty well, I'd say. And then comes pick 186. We take Hazmat Nazardeen from Florida State. Oh boy, I love this pick.
Me too.
I had him going, actually, in a few of my mocks, I had him going in the 2nd round to the Jags, so that's in the 40s. So to get him here is insane. He's built like Isaiah Simmons. He can make an impact right away.
I think he might.
Expect him to get some playing time. And then we drafted another corner, the D-tackle, who D-tackle we didn't really need, but from what I heard, this guy's a freak athlete, so a lot of upside there. And then comes the UDFAs. 2 of my favorite one by far is Green Bean's boy, Kenny Yeboah.
Me too.
This is a guy who I expect to make the roster right away, and he could definitely compete to take over Chris Herndon at some point. So yeah, I love this draft, and the future is bright. We'll have 2 firsts next year, and let's hope we can do some more damage in free agency after. Let me know what you think about the draft. Give me your grade, and as always, go Jets.
Yeah, Ben, I'm right at an A-. I thought it was a very, very solid draft class. I was just flipping through the Badlands draft guide. Shout out to Connor Rogers and Joe Caparoso. I think they do a great job over there. And Connor Rogers had Michael Carter as his 6th rated running back. I probably would have had him 4. Yeah, I would have went probably Najee, Travis Etienne, the 2 UNC guys, and then Gainwell 5 probably as my top 5 running backs. I really thought Carter was going to go much earlier than what he did. I thought, mid-2nd round would have made sense. And the fact that he was sitting there for the Jets where he was in round 4, I think they felt like they were getting really good value, and I agree. And he immediately is the best running back on this roster. I think him and Ty Johnson are going to go off this year. I'm super excited about the 2 of them going forward. And I think Joe Douglas did a really, really solid job. Was it perfect? I don't think it was perfect, but I think it's pretty damn close. A- draft grade, pretty solid for me. Shane in New Jersey is up next. He wants to talk about Moore at 34.
Hey, Matt, how we doing? This is Shane from New Jersey.
Good.
Kind of a quick take here, man, but I did not love the wide receiver selection in round 2. I feel like we have a lot of needs with a lot of good talent on that board. And then even getting there, some teams were looking to trade up, and we held it. He stayed strong. I get it that that's the guy he wanted, but we have so many needs. There were so many first-round talent guys still on the board. The Notre Dame linebacker, Tevin Jenkins, Sante Samuel Jr., and we went receiver. I don't know. I'm just not that into it. Maybe you could change my mind. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. My rebuttal to that would be, we saw what happened with Sam Darnold, and they never did enough to put weapons around him. That excuse will not be applicable to Zack Wilson and his development. They are doing everything in their power to make life easy for Zack Wilson, which it's very hard for me to be critical of it. I understand that there are probably more important positions, and that's why we kind of were a surprise reaction on the stream. But I can't be mad at it because I think he is a high floor player, someone who they had as a top 25 player, and a lot of people did. I saw some have him as high as 17, 13, maybe even. I don't know if I'd go that high, but still, very, very solid player who I think could have an impact on this offense from day one. And more specifically, this offense is a bottom 2 offense the last 2 years. So they're kind of overcompensating to get out of that. It's very difficult for me to be upset with their approach to this draft. So I understand where you're coming from, Shane. I would just say think of what we were all complaining about under Sam Darnold, and they're trying to do the exact opposite with Zack Wilson. So last one is Chris. He is calling from Mississippi. What do you got, Chris?
Hey, Matt, it's Chris from Mississippi. First off, I want to say I love the draft. I love the Talking Jets panel. I was in
Thank
all
you.
3 days.
Love it, buddy.
You, Green Bean, and Ryan were a lot of fun to watch. And I want to talk about the draft. So basically, I think Joe actually did a pretty good job. You know, he knew the needs of the team, and he took shots at them.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of would have liked maybe, some of the, cornerback and linebacker, those needs earlier, but,
Okay.
he did hit them. He took 2 shots at linebacker, 2 shots at cornerback, 1 shot at the slot cornerback. But basically, last time I called, I talked about how, he should be attacking, those positions earlier and how, he should wait for the wide receiver and stuff like that. But you know what? I do think he got a good wide receiver in Elijah Moore.
Agreed.
Now, being from Mississippi, I know a lot about Elijah Moore. I'm actually a big Mississippi State fan, and that's actually where I go to school. But, it's all good. I still think he's a good player. And I remember on the Talking Jets panel, y'all talked about his negative was maybe the character about how he did the whole, peeing on the field. But let me just say this. DK Metcalf did the same thing 2 years earlier on the Egg Bowl, and, look what
True.
DK became. So maybe Elijah Moore is next DK Metcalf. That's what I'm trying to say.
That'd be nice.
But my question for you, though, is, with the whole Elijah Vera Tucker trade,
Okay.
Knowing how the board fell, Kevin Jenkins, ended up falling until was the second round, but he would have been there at 23. So do you think Joe Douglas made the right move by trading up to get Elijah Vera Tucker and giving up those 2 third-round picks, or he could have stayed in his spot and gone, Kevin Jenkins or maybe Creed Humphrey or someone like that, and then, had those 2 third-round picks to take someone? But, and that's just a question. I'm not complaining. I think we had a good draft, and I'm excited for the next season. So, yeah, anyway, thank you for listening.
Yeah, anytime, Chris. It's very hard for me to be upset with the aggressive move to go up and get Elijah Vera Tucker, just because I think he is by far the best interior offensive lineman in this draft class. And sure, now you can look back and say, oh, well, Tevin Jenkins was there at 23. We didn't know that at the time. There was no way to know that Tevin Jenkins was going to make it that far. The Raiders took Leatherwood, who I like a lot. I thought was going to be a late first-round guy, someone I mocked the Jets at 23 because of who went in front. But that taking him over Tevin Jenkins was very, very surprising. I thought for sure he was going off the board there. So I'm not upset with Joe Douglas for giving up those third-round picks to go up and get someone that they're confident. I am confident that he is going to be a Pro Bowl caliber left guard for this team for a decade. So I could really care less about the third-round picks at that point. Sure, we could look at it, after the fact and say, oh, well, a good offensive lineman would have been there at 23, and then they could have kept him. Doesn't really bother me. It doesn't. I'm that high on Elijah Vera Tucker. Again, I'll say it again. That was my favorite pick of the draft, and I am a huge Zack Wilson guy. So I think that tells you all I need to know. So draft weekend is finally over. I'm going to get some rest, some more rest, because it's a busy weekend, but so much fun. Appreciate you coming along for the ride. More Fallout reaction this week on the channel, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure to subscribe if you are new, and I'll talk to you next time.